a pretty girl inside those. She needn't be ashamed of herself anywhere.
All right. Bring it back to me when it's filled.
I will.
It's 1935. The silent era of film makes way for the talkies, or the golden era of cinema, and a bright-eyed 36-year-old Alfred Hitchcock decides to make the 39 Steps. The story follows a Canadian man with almost no backstory.
Ah, a gentleman from Canada. You're welcome, sir.
Embroiled in a murder and subsequent elaborate escape across the UK to unravel a spy plot, to smuggle national secrets, and to clear his name. Orson Wells referred to the 39 Steps as a masterpiece. Screenwriter Robert Towne remarked, "It's not much of an exaggeration to say that all contemporary escapist entertainment begins with the 39 Steps." But 1930s cinema wasn't just for escapism, as many essays have written. It became an incredibly surprising platform for very liberal topics such as sexuality, gender rights and equality, and much more. Movies started to highlight deep social issues. However, this didn't last long and was curtailed by the rigorous implementation of the Hays Code in Hollywood. In 1930, the Motion Picture Production Code, also known as the Hays Code, administered by Joseph Breen and former Postmaster General Will Hays, set film guidelines regarding sex, violence, religion and crime, but wasn't enforced until 1934. The Hays Code effectively censored any mature discussion in film upon pain of a hefty $25,000 fine, equivalent to $417,000 today in 2022. Not only this, but the film would be ostracized by the church, dwindling the already strained movie-going numbers due to the Great Depression. But even from within this highly censored industry, Mr. Hitchcock found a way to still explore difficult topics in his own way.
A good gig. Broad-minded, old geezer.
So in 39 Steps, about 20 minutes into its 82-minute runtime, Hitchcock transfers our attention to three characters we haven't met before and will soon leave forever. During this seemingly innocuous moment, two men discuss a corset and bra.
Here, I'll show you. Big demand for these now. The old-fashioned sort.
My wife.
Hitchcock is known for his wicked sense of humour.
Thank you.
And in this moment, the humorous comment also happens to be laced with something deeper. There is a sort of disgust the second character has towards his wife, who isn't there to hear these horrible words that he so flippantly uses.
My wife.
As a director, Alfred Hitchcock is known for never allowing anything unnecessary into his films.
And I gather you would never shoot from... Sometimes in a movie you'll see the cameras inside the fireplace behind the flames.
Oh, that's charming, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's putting the audience out of the frying pan into the fire.
You'd never do that?
Never.
Why? What does that violate?
Well, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Nobody can get inside the fire, they'll get burnt. It doesn't make sense. All those things are quite silly to me.
So, by taking time away from the main story and main characters, he's telling us there is something important about this interaction he wants us to focus on, and it really doesn't matter if the main character is there or not.
Put a pretty girl inside those. She needn't be ashamed of herself anywhere.
All right. Bring it back to me when it's filled.
I will.
This is such an obvious objectification of women, yet no one seems to bat an eyelid. This to me suggests that Alfred Hitchcock is very aware of this era's misogyny, or at least the deep sense of disrespect men have for women. To help drive his perspective home even further, Hitchcock uses a third character in the carriage with the two men as they discuss the underwear. This third character happens to be a priest who seems to become more and more interested in the conversation as it continues. Hitchcock's humour here pierces the male ego again, showing that any man, even a priest, can be tempted. Given the timing of this film, surely Hitchcock is referencing the enforced rules on Hollywood enacted by the church, showing the temptation of the priest to look at the underwear and his subsequent embarrassment. When the train approaches the station, a rather ruffled priest gets up to leave, yet still says nothing. The two men then apologise not for their rude comments about women, but about talking business.
I hope you're partners for talking business, sir?
Oh, certainly, certainly.
Good day, sir. Good day.
Hitchcock here is hammering home how there is so little ramifications between men for such behaviour, even in 1935. The priest leaves uncomfortably, but on shutting the train door, finds himself looking directly at the bra. He quickly realises he's caught staring and leaves. The two men state then, in passing,
Broad-minded old geezer.
this could reference the priest's lack of response to their conversation about women, and of course, this is a direct reference to the church's influence on censoring the movies of this period. So this scene is essentially 1 minute taken out of an 82-minute runtime, which actually is quite a bit of time for a scene which has literally nothing to do with the rest of the film. If I told you that I have a scene in the middle of my film which involves characters we've never met before discussing a topic that has nothing to do with the film's events, themes, or character's journey, one might think I was mad or that scene would be cut rather quickly. Instead, Hitchcock not only has been brave enough to do that exact thing, but he has turned it into a perfectly Hitchcockian moment with irreverent humour and meaning beneath its simplicity. All the more interesting is the topic raised within this carriage is never touched upon again for the rest of the film, although the treatment of women is touched upon, which is interesting given Hitchcock's spotty past with women and especially his lead actresses on sets.
He suddenly grabbed me and put his hands on me. It was sexual, it was perverse, and it was ugly.
By not revealing a backlash to the awful behaviour of these men, Alfred Hitchcock is revealing the unchecked misogyny of men, showing how this issue is not being tackled at all, and how it affects a large proportion of men, no matter their age or position. Past just misogyny within this era, I believe this scene highlights how Hitchcock perceives Hollywood at that moment in time. Hampered, censored by the Hays Code, Hollywood's creators, directors and writers and producers would be able to see the issues of the world but be completely unable to comment upon them because they are completely handcuffed by the Hays Code. They're unable to say if something is good or bad. They just must sit by silently and shuffle off rather embarrassed that they are unable to say anything at all.